Hey, I'm Alex Coleman, and this is my 8.4 fitness testing results for George Fisher. Here are his results. So, as you can see, in pretty much every single one, besides the 1 rep max, where he just got average, everything is either above average or excellent, so that's really, really good. And the first test that I'll be talking about is the vertical jump test. This test is obviously a measure of how much power you have in your legs, and is very good for rugby, as when you're in a line out, you need to be able to jump higher than everyone else to be able to grab the ball, or if someone throws like a high pass or something, you're going to need to be able to jump to grab that. So this is a very good test for a rugby player to see how well they can do, and clearly he was easily 20 centimetres above the national average for his age, so that is really, really good. And here are some strengths and weaknesses of his vertical jump. So strengths, it was above the average. It was really relevant to rugby, which is his main sport. It shows how much power he can produce in his legs. Some weaknesses are that his technique could have been a little bit better, which might have made him be propelled more and then get a lot higher. And also, when he was doing it, he had done the yo-yo test right before this, so he was a lot more fatigued and tired compared to if he had never done this before. He hadn't done anything before the vertical jump test. My next one is the yo-yo test, and he got 15.7, which is a whole level above the national average, which again is excellent and really good. This is relevant to rugby, as you are constantly you're doing running for a long time, but it'll be like stop start, and the yo-yo test shows that very well, as you're running and then you're slowing down, stopping, slowing, and then for a 5-second period of time and then running again. So that's very relevant to rugby, as it shows cardiovascular fitness and shows how well he can do in a race, and his strengths and weaknesses. So he kept a good pace throughout. He got an excellent result, and it was of course very useful for rugby. Weaknesses of George is that he didn't eat enough before. He only had one sandwich or something, so that definitely affected the way he did. And his warm-up could have been a little bit better, which would have made his legs a lot looser and a lot better, so that he can run a lot for longer distances without getting tired or injuring himself. And then my next one is the 1.5 mile run, which George did in 9.18, which is really, really good. Compared to the national average, which is 12 minutes, 9.18 is excellent, it's superior. So that's really reflects well on how good his cardiovascular fitness and muscular endurance is, which is relevant again to rugby, as you'll be running for long periods of time. I don't know how long the game is, but he'll be running for pretty much the whole game, and you need good cardiovascular fitness. Otherwise, you're just going to die within 2 minutes. So this is really relevant to rugby. Strengths and weaknesses for the 1.5 mile run. Some strengths, that his technique was really good. He paced himself very well. He was, of course, well above the average, which is amazing. And it shows that he has good cardiovascular fitness and muscular endurance. But a weakness was that he didn't wear the best shoes and clothes, and he hadn't eaten before. And also, before we did the 35-metre sprint, which definitely made him more tired and fatigued. So when he did it, I reckon he could have got at least another 10 seconds quicker if he hadn't done 35-metre sprint right before this. My next one is the 1 rep max. This one he got up to 40 kg, which is in the average, the average is 40 to 50, and so 40 is average, which is again really good. And this is relevant to rugby, as when you're going in for a big tackle or you're in a scrum or something like this, you're going to need lots of strength. Otherwise, the other player's just going to win and you're going to lose the ball, and they might score a try for that or something. So you definitely need strength in this one. Otherwise, you're not going to be a very good rugby player. So strengths of this were that he had good technique, and that it shows that he has really good strength in his muscles. But he had a good technique, but it could have been improved a tiny bit more, and if he had improved it a bit more, then he might have gone another kilogram higher, or he might have got a bit higher of a weight. Another weakness is that he's too high, so he could have easily injured himself if he'd gone any higher, or even with this one he could have injured himself, but luckily he didn't because the weight was just about right. But yeah, again, it was maybe a little bit too heavy for him. My next one is the 35-meter sprint. He did this in 5.1 seconds, which is excellent, as the national average is 5.74. So 5.1 is excellent, and it shows that he's a very quick sprinter. And you're definitely going to need this in rugby, as say someone might be running to get a try, and you're going to need to catch up with them to tackle them, and so they stop them from trying. Or on the other hand, if you've got the ball and you're running to get a try for your team, then you're going to need to sprint past anyone. So having 35-meter sprint and having good speed is really essential for rugby. And some strengths for it, that his running technique is really good. He'd done a sufficient warm-up before, and there was nothing he had done, no test or anything that he'd done before this, so he was ready and wasn't fatigued or tired or anything. But one weakness, this is the only one I could really think of for this because he did really well, is that he slipped at the start, so I reckon if he hadn't done that, he could have easily broken 5 seconds and gone a lot quicker. My last test before I go on to future recommendations is the 1 minute push-up. He got 60, which is well above his 26 above the average, which is amazing, and shows that he has good muscular endurance, strength, power, and just really good all round. And you're going to need all those things in rugby, otherwise you aren't going to be able to tackle. Scrums will be a lot harder for you, or rucks or stuff like that. Strengths and weaknesses. So a strength was that his technique was very good, and he was well above the national average, which is really, really good. But weakness is that he'd done the 1.5 mile run just before this, so he was really tired, and that could easily affect how well he did the 1 minute push-up. So that was all my 6 fitness tests, and now I'm going on to future recommendations for him and what he can do for all of these in a 2-week program. So in the first week, I recommend on Monday or the first day that we start this, he cycles to college, or cycles as far as possible, and that will work on his aerobic endurance. So when he does a 1.5, if we tested the 1.5 mile run again and he'd done this over the 2 weeks or 3 weeks, however long he wants to do it for, that can easily increase how much air you can take into your lungs, and increase how well all of the aerobic system works, so it can improve that a lot more. So when you go to do a longer run, your body will work a lot better for the whole time, so you don't have to keep stopping to catch your breath. You'll just be able to carry on because your muscles won't be getting fatigued, and you won't keep getting out of breath and losing too much oxygen at a time. So on Tuesday, I recommend that he goes to the gym for an hour, spends half an hour on the treadmill, and half an hour on spinning on the bike. And this will work on muscular endurance, so when you do, say, a long distance event, or you run for a long time in a rugby match, you're going to need muscles that will be able to work and not fatigue and get tired, so you get a build-up of lactic acid, or you injure yourself in that way. So having good muscular endurance will prevent any of this from happening, or delay it for a long time, so he can go for longer without getting injured or lactic acid starting to build up. And so yeah, that's why I think you should do some spinning and jogging. And then again, to work on our aerobic endurance to get that higher, so you can play more in a rugby match, so you can get more play time before getting too tired. Cycling to his work or college or wherever he wants to cycle. And again, this will work on his aerobic endurance so that he can go for long without getting fatigued, tired, and get more oxygen into his blood, so the oxygen can go to his muscles, and then that can get lots more energy into his muscles, so that lactic acid doesn't build up and he doesn't get injured. Thursday, we'll do some plyometrics training, and plyometrics training helps with the vertical jump, or helps create power in your legs. So after, say, a few weeks of doing plyometrics training, you'll have much bigger muscles in your legs, and that will increase the amount of energy when you go down and then push back up. That push back up, there'll be more energy as you have more muscle to contract quicker. So the energy will be higher, and you'll be able to go a lot higher in your jump, which would obviously be good for him, as he'll be able to jump over everyone and then grab the ball and score a try. Friday, we'll get him to go to the gym and do some weight training. So we'll get him to do maybe the 1 rep max again, or just do some like standard lifts with the weights or something, just so that he can build up his arm muscles, so that when he goes in for a tackle, he'll be bigger than the other person and be able to take them out a lot easier. So working on his strength will be very beneficial to him. And Saturday, we'll go to the pool. So we'll go to a swimming pool, and I'll get him to do 3 lengths of front crawl and 3 lengths of backstroke, and then take a break, and then repeat this another 2 times with breaks in between. And this is just so that he can start to recover and get back to his normal regime, and then so he won't fatigue, get injured or stuff like that for the next week. And Sunday, he won't do anything. That will just be a rest day for him, so it'll be a lot easier for him to recover for our next week's endeavours. So week two, well, start off with a 2-mile run, and this again will improve his cardiovascular fitness, so that he can go for a longer in a rugby match without getting tired, fatigued, and then that will get more oxygen around his body again to his muscles, so that his muscles can work and produce more energy for the aerobic system, so that everything can work and he doesn't fatigue as quickly. So instead of Sunday, we'll get Tuesday to be a rest day, and that's so that he doesn't get injured or too fatigued or something for the rest of the week, which is not good. And so Wednesday, we'll get him to go to the gym and do some weight training again to build up those muscles in his arms and get him a lot bigger than he already is. And that's good, of course, for rugby, is you need to be strong so you can tackle people and score tries or do good in rucks and scrums and stuff. Thursday, we'll get him to go on a 10-mile bike ride, or however long he wants to do it. It's just a suggestion. And that will work on his cardiovascular fitness and, cardiovascular fitness again. So I'm just trying to get it so that his cardiovascular fitness is at a level where he can play a whole rugby match without being fatigued, and that will obviously be better for him, and he'll enjoy it more as he gets to play more rugby instead of maybe playing half a match or just over half a match just because he's too tired and can't play the rest of the match. So this will make it a lot more enjoyable for him. And then on Friday, we'll go to the gym, and we'll do half an hour on the rowing machine and half an hour on the treadmill. And this is to work on muscular endurance, a bit of cardiovascular fitness, but mostly muscular endurance, so that his muscles don't fatigue, get build up of lactic acid, and that he can work at a harder level for longer before anything starts to harm his body. And then Saturday, we'll do some plyometric training again to work on jump and vertical power. And then Sunday, we'll go swimming at a pool, and then do the same as last week, and that is again to let him recover and so that he doesn't get injured for the next couple of weeks. And thank you for watching. This is Alex Colmer doing 8.4.